Gents, the purpose of this video is to show you how to complete both the statement of estimated receipts from accounts receivable and a cash budget. This screen recording is for exercise 3.26 on page 262. Now, the first thing you need to make sure you do is have your screen set up similar or the same as mine. What you also must do, and please pause this recording if you haven't, but ensure that your input page has been inputted. A couple of things to note from the input page that must be done. Both the 80 and 20 here must be percentages. Okay, they are the collection rates for this question. How do you make cells percentages? Highlight the cells, right click, format cells, and ensure that you click on the percentage category. 0 decimal places too. The other main important point to note here is this $95,000 for credit purchases for December. If you look in the question, you do not see that piece of information. Where that information comes from is your understanding of accounting. And that information, of course, is where it states that the accounts payable as of 1st of January are $95,000 credit. What is an accounts payable? It is people or businesses that owe us money for credit purchases. Those purchases, because of our payment policy of the month following, therefore must have occurred in December. Once you have that, your input page as mine, you are able to begin. Okay, so we move over to the statement of estimated receipts for receivables. The first thing we must do is use our transpose formula to put the months and the credit sales in. Again, like our last recording, that is equals in the formula bar. Oops. Before we do that, of course, we must highlight 4 cells because that's what we need. Transpose, open brackets, generate the information we need, close brackets, and hold down Control and Shift whilst you push Enter. We do the same for the amounts. 4 cells. Transpose. Oops, don't open brackets yet. Open brackets. Close brackets, Control, Shift, and Enter. And our figures come across. Now, to complete the statement of estimated receipts, we must look at our collection rates, and they are, as said, 80-20. Okay. We therefore move across to the budget month and we ask ourselves, how much of November's credit sales will be received in the month of January? Because January is 2 months after November, we know it to be 20%. So here we are able to go equals 80,000 multiplied by 20%, $16,000. As again in the previous video, we can also move across. We know that there is a diagonal process here, down and across, and we can say the same thing. February being 2 months after December means that 20% of December's credit sales will be received in the month of February. Okay, but rather than simply do the same formula, we can use our absolutes. Okay, and to do that, we want to put a $ in front of the B, $ in front of the B, and 1 in front of the 10. Now, as you hit that, that does not change the 16,000, but that locks in column B and it locks in cell B10. So from that point, I can copy that formula and paste it down and across. We can do the same now for the 80% or the month following the credit sale. And we know that to be 50,000 multiplied by 80%, figure there of $40,000. Again, we can come up and we put a $ in front of the B, move across to our B9, just coincidentally they're both B9, $ B, $9. Again, the purpose of the dollar signs is called an absolute. It is to lock column B in, which is this column here, and it is also to lock cell B9 from our input page, which is that cell, which has the purpose of maintaining that cell as we move the formula down and across. So I Control C, Control V. At this point, I'm able to total my cash to be received in January. And for that, I can either use the auto sum or I can sum. Because I have the split screen, I don't have the auto sum. So what I'll be doing there is just using the sum formula and highlighting the previous 4 cells. From there, I can drag that formula across once I pick up the little cross, and then that, of course, crosses. So from sum E8 to E11, sum F8 to F11. For now, gents, I think it's okay to bold those numbers. Okay. After I have completed my statement of estimated receipts, I am now able to commence my cash budget. The information for cash sales is given in the question, and as you can see, I have inputted it into my assumption page, and I am able to simply take those across. The information for credit sales. Now, in some questions, you might see accounts receivable written here. I say to you, gents, they are the same thing. It is the cash that we are receiving from previous month's credit sales in the months of January and February. And obviously bringing this $42,000 down for February. At this point, we're able to add up our total estimated receipts. And the simplest way to do that is to sum all the columns again. Though in this question, they may not all be in use, but they will be in future questions. Find the small arrow again, drag across, and we now have our total estimated receipts for both January and February. We move on to estimated payments, and we can again look to the information in our input page. Note that the payment policy, and I read from the question, all purchases are made on credit, ignoring the aspect of the discount, paid within 30 days from the last day of the month in which they were made. What that means is as follows. Any purchase that is made in December is on credit, and we will pay for that purchase in the next month. Any purchase made in December will be paid for in the month of January. Therefore, we write in here accounts payable. Take off the italics for some reason that's there. And again, even though we're in the month of January, we are after the credit purchases for December. For February's payment of credit purchases, we are after the month of January. February's credit purchases would be paid for in March. However, as there is no budget month for March, we do not need to include that amount. We now look to add in our general expenses. Okay, they are paid in the month of, so January's credit purchases are paid in, general expenses are paid in January, and February's in February. And finally, we are now able to say also that the potential purchase of a machinery is to be undertaken in February of $50,000. Excuse me, I shouldn't write that. I should grab that cell for practice. And we can now see that our total payments for each month are as follows. The bank balance for the start of January is also given to us, which I have placed in the input page. that being $50,000. Okay, because I can look now and see that both months of January and February receipts will be greater than payments, I can then delete line 34 and simply use the formula equals total receipts minus total payments. That can be dragged across for the time being. Whoops, I was wrong. That's okay. I don't like losing two lines. Our bank balance at the end of January is equal to 50,000 plus the 169,000. The bank balance for the end of January must become the bank balance for the beginning of February. And because we summed and we have a negative number where payments are greater than receipts, again, we are able to drag that across. From that point, we are able to one line above and two lines below, and that question there completes our cash budget for the months of January and February. Best of luck, gents, as you watch this and complete your own activities.